You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by
James.
Your Holiness James. Ho ho hey ho ha. Welcome to episode 3. We're going to review the Pope. 3rd episode. They didn't bother naming these episodes. Come on. You got all of the Latin language to come up with some kooky letters, and you didn't come up with any episode names?
No, it's episode Pius the Third.
That's hilarious. So, all right, quick review. We're not doing shots and shots like we usually do for big shows, but we just want to give people our reactions and kind of our response, and hopefully people enjoy hearing our bullshit. I always like hearing James's bullshit.
I have a lot of it.
Good, thanks. So, what did you think, James? What was your take?
No, I thought this kind of moved the story along a little bit slowly for this episode. This whole episode was kind of about how did the Pope become the Pope? Who knew what? What did Voiello do? What does Spencer believe? Is he going to help the Pope?
And like, what were their emotional underpinnings for both before they were Pope, he became Pope, and then like their response to being Pope? Obviously, being Pope is like a big deal. This is like in McDonald's, they choose an employee to be Ronald McDonald.
And there's only one. They have to fly him around every franchise.
Yeah. And it's a sentence. It's a punishment because you have to be a clown freak. Mm-hmm. Okay, not to compare the Pope to that. But anyway, go ahead.
But the other thing is that this is all about how the Vatican and the popes, and not the popes, there's only one Pope, but the cardinals and the bishops are reacting to the address that he gave in the prior episode. Yeah. And they're concerned that he is not, it's like this is the first time in 400 years we've had a Pope who's been such an adversary to the public, to the faithful. He is hostile. He's scaring people, and he will not seem to appear before the public to clarify his statements. So he has a press conference, but sends Sister Mary out there. He won't even show up himself.
It wasn't even a press conference. No. It was a statement delivery. She just went out there and said, fuck you all. I'm pissed off, and you're not real Catholics like me.
Yeah, because basically
something like that.
His instruction to her was that you're not going to answer questions. You're going to affirm what I dictate to you. Yeah. And I think that she opened with a line, reading it directly from the paper, as that I'm different to your doubts and criticisms, and is basically just flipping the bird. Indifferent. Yeah, sorry. She's flipping the bird to the press and the people. Right. And they're asking us, and she's saying, I will not let anything stand in the way of my plans. Like, what plans? What plans? And she's not answering because it's not written for her to answer. Right. The only time she goes off the record is when she says, who am I? I'm Sister Mary. Right. And leaves.
I don't think they're used to having a woman go up there, a nurse, a nun, go up there and read a thing. It's always the men get to do that kind of stuff.
It was just weird how she flew away at the end, too. I didn't expect that.
She took an umbrella and just floated out the window.
A flying nun doesn't need an umbrella.
Right. So there's that whole thing with the response to the address. That's created a lot of tension. The cardinals are all nervous. I guess attendance has gone down. Or there was a scene where they said people are scared.
Yeah, to go back into their own churches or something.
People are freaked out a little bit. But he's unfazed. This is kind of within like what he said, his plan. And there's even there was a key scene. We're gonna get our scenes a little jumbled, everybody. But there was a moment where someone said something about him being a cardinal, and it's not what you do. He goes because they were surprised. That was a very emotional scene for Voiello, near the middle of the episode where he was where he screamed at him. He kind of lost his cool. Right. He said "fuck," but basically it's like, why are you acting like this? What the this was not supposed to how it was supposed to go. Yeah. I'm progressive. Spencer's conservative. You were going to be the bridge in the middle. We had a compromise worked out that was going to keep everything stable. And here you are being a crazy maniac. They didn't plan on that. And it was like an outburst. And that led to a big plot development.
Yeah, well, something even bigger led up to that. Yeah. And that's where he's yelling, you're supposed to be the Pope of compromise. You were considered to be a synthesis. Why are you doing this? Why did you change? All that kind of stuff. And that's when he said, a cardinal doesn't behave the same way a Pope does, and everything you mentioned. But in reality, earlier in the episode, when he went and met with Voiello, met with Spencer has no love for Voiello because he's been around long enough to know that this guy pulls the strings. He's the one who controls who gets elected and who doesn't. Right. And it was his lifelong birthright, he felt, to be the Pope. Yeah. So he was like, I know you did this to me. Why did you betray me? And Voiello said, in truth, I did not. It was the Holy Spirit breathed. It was the breath of God that chose. I did not manipulate anything, but I let people believe that I did so I could maintain the illusion of my power. Yeah. But then in this scene, before he has his outburst, the Pope looks at him and says, I order you to tell me the truth behind how I became Pope. Yes. And this is when he revealed why he was chosen, why they felt that they could, manipulate him, why they felt he was a good choice. So was he saying this to Pope to make it seem like he was in charge when he really wasn't, or was he lying to Spencer?
I think he was lying to Spencer. Mm-hmm. I think whatever he told the Pope was a little more honest, but it's hard for me. I don't really have any real reason for that, but other than he's less incentivized to be totally honest to Spencer. Yeah, but in that kind of politician way.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that after he admitted to orchestrating the whole thing to the Pope looked at him after saying that I'm going to depose you as cardinal.
Yeah.
He said, the worst thing about this all is that you honestly believe that I'm Pope because of you. You are not. I'm not Pope because of you, because he believes it was divine. Because in the very first scene, he's up on the roof talking to the confessional guy, and he's saying he repeated a mantra to himself, not him, me, not him, me, not them, me.
Well, he was expressing the praying he did during the conclave because he was afraid that he wasn't going to be selected.
Yeah, but he believed that, he is the one.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of horrible things up on that rooftop, which he then later went down to his room in private and was remorseful about, that repented for all that.
Yeah.
So he's a very contradictory pope. He's stern and sure and confident when he's around people, but when he's alone, he's questioning himself, wondering if he's doing the right thing. He's confused.
Yeah. And I'm a lot like that, though, at the DMV. I sit there and I go, not them, me. Not them, me. Not them, me. B42. Oh, fuck. I'm G16. Okay, sorry. That was a distraction. Yeah. But yeah, he's obviously an intense fellow. Mm-hmm. He does, and even at one point someone accused him, maybe it wasn't to his face, I don't recall quite, but of believing in absolute sovereignty. Isn't that the phrase that they used?
Yeah, and that was when Voiello yelled. He said, "You were supposed to share your sovereignty with my advice and Spencer."
Yeah,
or something like that.
It was all going to work out or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's like, no. There's only one God. There's only one Pope, and pretty much I'm him.
Yeah.
He doesn't see much difference between God and himself.
Yeah.
That's not exactly the best mindset for anybody. But
yeah, this is also the same guy who said that I'm perhaps more handsome than Jesus.
Yes, that was funny. That was hilarious. And the other guy's like, yeah, Jesus was pretty handsome. I mean, I like that they agree that there was an attractiveness part to Jesus.
I think it was to fair, Voiello, right?
Huh?
He said that to Voiello.
Yeah,
but he also said, "Don't quote me on that," or "Don't something like that," or off record.
Yeah, Jesus had to be okay looking. He couldn't have been a total hog. Come on. Decent junk size and all the rest of it. Abs, probably but subtle abs. Not annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
So I think there's only really two more things I want to mention about this episode. A lot of other stuff happened, but these are the major points.
Yeah.
The last one of the two things was that the Pope said that absence is presence, and that finding God takes sacrifice and suffering. And he's saying this to Spencer. And Spencer he's been drinking a little bit, but he's kind of reeling back against him, saying, the problem with you is that you're basically an idiot. You think that everyone needs to find their faith in God the same way you did, through suffering and pain, through the agony of losing your parents.
Being abandoned.
Who abandoned you. And he said, you're still that 9-year-old boy standing in front of the orphanage gates that can never deal with this situation, and now you're failing to understand that 1 billion other Catholics don't have the same needs that you do. Right. Not everyone is going to walk the same path and the same footsteps as you do, and you need to understand that and stop trying to push your pain on other people.
Yeah, which he rejected, though.
Yeah.
How did he reject that? I mean, you don't have to get the quote exactly right.
I don't know. I think he just walked away or something. I don't quite remember the line that he used, but he wasn't sold by it.
Yeah, he wasn't sold by it. He says, "You're drunk," and he goes, "Not enough."
Yeah, and he says, "You're a vindictive little boy, and basically, I will not waste what few years I have left catering to your needs and your plan."
So I don't know if we made it very clear though in that scene where he forces Voiello to tell him why he voted or why the conclave went the way it did. He fires him. Right?
Yeah, he deposes him.
And he says, it's not even that bad. It's going to get worse. Like, he's not even just making, he's not even, no. Voiello offers to resign. He's like, no, it has to go worse than that.
No, he says, what does he say first?
I thought
Do you want me to apologize? No, that won't be enough.
Yeah,
Do you want me to resign? No, even that won't be enough.
He's going to strip him of his cardinalship.
Yeah, basically. They can do the Game of Thrones naked walk of shame.
Yeah, ringing a bell next to him. Except he forgets the bell. It's just one of those noisemakers that spins around. Shame. So that was really compelling. And then as a response, he says, "You don't know how much power I have." I don't know if he says it to him. Or I don't know who heard that, where that line was spoken.
Yeah, I don't quite recall.
He's like, "I have a tremendous amount of influence all over this place." Because actually, there was a pullback shot. It was like a helicopter.
Yeah, it was a voiceover.
Yeah, and so Voiello goes out of his way, and they meet with Spencer, and he brings that old guy there. And the old guy
in the rain
lifts up his hand, and he's carrying God. And they say the weight of God is fragile, and we have to protect it, or something like that.
We
sort of the
need
implication.
To reinforce the God, basically. Yeah. And
so
I don't.
That's persuasive, though.
Yeah, and I think it spoke to Spencer because Spencer, even though he's an older man, I think he was mentored by this older cardinal.
Probably.
He looked at him with respect, and he reminded him that the job of a priest is not to try and enforce the word of God during his prime, but it's to do it until the very last day that you die, and your job is not over yet. Your job is never over until you draw your last breath.
Always carry that weight, or protect it, or something like that.
And that really spoke to him, because the Pope...
I'm the same way with egg rolls.
Yes.
I always have one in the palm of my hand. And I will when I die.
Yeah, and the Pope offered...
Of egg rolls. I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Heart disease. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the Pope offered in the prior episode to make Spencer the new prefect after he fired the one who admitted to being homosexual.
Yes.
Who was practically one of the highest positions of power within the cardinals and within the church. And
and he also has to pick a new master or teacher of the dark arts.
Yes.
Or defense against the dark arts professor.
Yeah, his potions teacher. The sorting hat needs to be changed out. And But this causes a complete change in Spencer, and he rushes before the Pope and says, "Lenny, forgive me," bows down before him and goes, "I will advise you, I will take the position, please forgive me."
Yeah.
And he just looks at him and goes, "You know what? There's no positions left open for you anymore, and for future reference, you will call me Your Holiness."
Your Holiness. Yeah. Which is, when Lenny, when Spencer in the previous episode yelled at him, like, "I'll never call you, I'll only call you Lenny.
Yeah.
You piece of shit, young punk." But he comes back and he grovels and he still doesn't get what he wants. So it's Pope's hard to deal with. This guy's a tough cookie. He's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, and the rest of the whole episode was just sort of like a Littlefinger Varys type deal where they're running around sowing seeds of doubt, finding dirt on something. Voiello busts into Gutierrez's room, which is strangely adorned with stuffed animals, finds out that he's got a drinking problem, uses that against him to get secrets out of the Pope, because he knows that the Pope confides in him.
Yeah.
But then again, we have to know that the Pope is probably confiding false words into Gutierrez to see if the smoke comes out from Vieiro. So it's all these like political power plays going on in the background.
Yeah. The kangaroo is spying on everybody, hopping around from rooftop.
Cameras in the pouch.
You know it's there because the camera goes. You could hear it whir.
And the headphones is what he's wearing. And you can see the iPod cord going into the pouch.
They found the kangaroo's stash of anime porn. Yeah. Like, oh, I know about the hentai. So there's more sexual stuff in this episode.
Yeah, the character master comes
back. You can't talk about human males fighting with each other. It did seem like we're watching an episode of Girls a little bit, and it was like, not that that's what Girls is.
Not like that you mentioned they're all wearing dresses too.
They're all wearing dresses, and they're all just kind of just getting up in each other's business. I've never even seen Girls. Sex in the City. They're friends, but they're still kind of occasionally have misunderstandings. But you can't have a bunch of dudes and not have to deal with their stupid penises. Believe me, I've been a dude since I was a baby, and it is always a factor because we have evolved these brains. My point is, there's women around. There's people you screw with people's sexual instincts because by forcing them to be celibate, things go kooky. So they do address the Kurtwell case, which is some sort of child abuse cover-up. I think that'll come up later in the season. I suspect. Like he's like, no, I'll deal with it. They wanted someone else to handle it, and he's like, that was sort of the way that resolved in this episode, at least. He's like, don't worry about it. I got it later. I'll appoint somebody to handle it.
And he's
later.
Like, well, when will you do it? When God illumines me.
Yeah, illumine. I've never heard that word before. Yeah. I'm curious what exactly that means.
Sounds like something like a sleep aid drug.
Yeah, or just like I don't know. So Esther, the blonde woman,
we find out she is the wife of Peter, who is a Swiss guard.
Yeah,
but also has flings with other priests on the side.
It seems so, because the one guy brought her up, and he immediately tried to like kiss her and grope her. She's like, no, someone will see us.
He didn't have Tic Tacs though, so he didn't move on her.
Yeah, he won't become president, but it was clear they had a history together. Yes. It wasn't like he was aggressive, but she didn't rebuff him like, don't touch me. She was just like, no, someone will see us, don't do that. So. Right. But then she's like, someone wants to meet you, because she's standing out in the middle of the square, motionless, like the fucking ring or something.
Because she knows there's motion lights that she doesn't want to activate.
Yeah, she's like that movie where Robert Redford steals jewelry or something, where he has to walk slow or not get hot. I don't know, whatever. She eventually gets called up, which is good. That's how I want to become a professional baseball player. I'm just going to hang outside the stadium staring at it until they pick me. You want to bang the boss? So, no, they bring her up to meet the Pope, and she's excited. And it was actually interesting when they're walking in, and he's like, how does this place make you feel, or something? She's like, it feels really unnerved here. It's like,
uneasy or something.
Uneasy. And like, it was designed to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's nice. That's how you want power, the seat of power.
It looked like a level of Quake.
Yeah, it did, actually. Yeah, I know. I kept thinking, like, I want to see Batman swoop around from the rafters or something. So you pick up a little bit of that, though.
Okay, so she basically... Esther goes up into the room to meet the Pope. But before this, or I think it was before this, the Pope was talking to Gutierrez, and he recounts a story that before he entered the seminary, he had a fling with a girlfriend on his 1 week off.
Oh, yeah.
And Gutierrez now knows this, and I think that he's going to have to tell it to Voiello, and Voiello is looking for any sort of weakness in the Pope whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we now know that the Pope is straight, at least, or bi, whatever, we don't know.
I think he's got a straight vibe as far as I can tell. But he's one of those guys that could be whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so intense.
And we know that he seems to have some sort of an interest in Esther. We don't know exactly where that interest comes from, but he's grilling her in his room about...
in his office.
Okay, yeah, in his large...
Yeah.
Obscenely large office.
With the weird glass globe in the corner.
Yeah. I mean, at least they now admit that the world is round.
Yeah.
I give them that much.
Yeah. They used to have a big glass plate.
Yeah. But anyway, he's saying, did you understand? What did you perceive from my speech? And she says, I perceived respect. And then he kind of falls back, and you and I both thought at the time that he was doing like a trust fall. It's like, that's really weird. That's something, I mean, Boy Scouts in the woods would do that, but the Pope, might fall into your glass globe and shatter it.
It's a bold move.
Yeah, but really he was actually passing out.
Yeah.
Which enters into question, is he well? Is he sick? Does he have some sort of condition? Or was this some sort of divine... weird vision he was having, because he was seeing himself as a child running from the gates of the orphanage after his parents, yelling, what is your name? What is your name? But they are silent and leave on a boat.
Yeah.
And then doesn't address it again. The next shot is him smoking, talking in his room.
Right, and then so they don't explain what happened with the pass out thing. So either it's a timeline jump, or it's not that important, or something. I mean, how you think that'd be kind of a dramatic moment that would have get more sussed out more. But then it cuts to him in the garden talking to one of the guys, Gutierrez. Yeah, the guy who has the stuffed animals all over his bed. Hey, not there's anything wrong with that. I got laundry all over my bed. That's not because I think I like to cuddle with it. It's because it's lazy, and I don't have a lot of visitors these days. But he's telling him mostly about how he feels a lot of doubt. He feels some things he doesn't believe himself. He doesn't believe in himself, and he has doubts about God. And I think that's a big part of. Again, speaking out of my bullshit, not real. I don't have any real notion about what other Catholics, but I know doubt, questioning yourself is sort of one of those religious testing moments in almost every religious person's life, where they have to sort of deal with that feeling in some way or another. Sometimes maybe it's never there, and that's okay too. I had doubt when I was 13, and it's never gone away. So doubt works for me. Great movie, by the way.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, and Meryl Streep.
Yeah. And you spoke about that. I mean, about him being a contradictory guy, because the whole episode opens with him on the rooftop saying things like, they all went white when I revealed my name, Pope Pius XIII. They chose a pope they did not know, and today they will begin to understand. They chose a pope they presumed they knew. Yeah. All this kind of stuff. And he was railing against, religion and God and so forth. And then when he gets back to his room, he's like, I forgive me, God, if I have wronged you or offended you. If I have, strike me down and take my power. If I've abused my power, take my power. If I have made the people afraid, then strike me. Yeah. Basically going through all the different things that...
If I have left the oven on before I went to work, take my power.
Yeah.
If I have not emptied the vacuum cleaner, and then I don't know why that would be so bad.
Yeah, so his needle is bouncing all over the place. First he's confident and suave, and now he's questioning himself. Then he's back to power hungry. Then he's reluctant to believe himself. It's like he's a hard guy to read.
Yes, I think it's. I hope they broaden the scope of his influence. I mean, he's the Pope. We know that he controls the world, the Catholic world. But he, which is large. I mean, that's 1 billion people or something. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. But I hope that they show like the way the outside world is reacting to this change, this new Pope in a way. Yeah. I kind of like when movies, because they could keep it all just in the Vatican, which is itself a big enough place. There's plenty of drama to be had. But I hope they go to. Oh, this Pope is... Because he's going to maintain a public image that's more rigid than his internal struggles. This show's about exposing his internal struggles in some ways. So I'm curious to see how that part of it plays out.
Yeah, and if we want to get Voiello to watch our channel, we need to upload clips of soccer.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that he was watching YouTube clips. It was a really good dude doing great soccer moves.
Yeah, in this like old, antiquated room with like centuries-old paintings and furniture and stuff.
I should do a short thing where I edit that scene and put our... show or like us animated on his YouTube page that he's watching. I totally could. It would take some tracking and it would take some 3D positioning and stuff, but I probably could make that work. I got so many other things I got to work on. I can't do it, but Overall, were you kind of underwhelmed by this episode?
No, I mean, I liked it. I mean, it was a little bit slower paced. It didn't have a lot of action. It didn't have any of those like great scenes where the Pope is completely dressing down someone. It didn't have a lot of memorable moments like that.
Yeah.
But when the first thing started, I looked over and I said, you know what? This thing doesn't really have an opening, does it? And then we got one, which was really cool.
Yeah, there was the first two, no opening at all. And now there's like this really cool, slick, weird stylistic opening where he's walking by a bunch of paintings with the credits are like getting this sort of glowy electrical
like
text.
Neon.
Yeah, neon light thingy, but there's this meteor thing crashing and then it knocks over.
And the meteor is going through the paintings and the paintings are moving and it's setting everything on fire as he walks by it. So it's almost like it's saying, I'm the new Pope in town, I'm bucking the rules, I'm setting everything ablaze as I go through.
And then they show it hit like a doll Pope or something. It was
then he looks at the camera and winks like the end of like a Dexter episode or something. It was
that's how
weird but awesome.
Yeah, that's how I end dates with girls. I wink at them and I go, "Hey, see you later," and then they block me.
Then the comet hits them.
They block me on Facebook. The comet, blows up their car. So, all right, I don't know. In review, I actually like this episode more than now. We've talked about it a little bit, but initially I was just like, I don't even know what the fuck I just watched. I just feel like it was a little disjointed, but overall, I'm still compelled by it. I want him to start really. Oh, and he fired that one guy with the beard.
The guy whose office he stole in the last episode that we didn't really mention.
This is different. Same guy.
Same guy who was going to his office and he was drilling the
He made him pick a spot on the globe and he goes, "Oh, he picked Alaska."
Yeah, he goes, "Actually, Father, my finger landed on San Francisco." He goes, "Nope, Alaska." Is it cold there, Father? Yes, it is freezing.
Yeah, very cold. So he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he said something else like if you are not demeaning me, why does it feel like you are demeaning me even further? And he goes, "Because I am."
Yeah, totally. So that was crazy. So, no, do you hear it? Do you feel the crackle? The excitement? James, it's time for a surprise confessional. Here we go. Oh, I bumped the microphone. Bring it down. All right. I am now the Pope with the hat. It fits me very well, and my head is never too sweaty when I'm done in my one-bedroom, small, single unit, twin bed covered in hentai porn. James, it is time to confess. You will no longer be a sinner if you confess to me all of your dirty, nasty sinfulness. Now confess, for you must earn my forgiveness. Confess!
I got a phone call earlier, and I pretended I wasn't there, and I didn't answer it.
You have committed the sin of telecommunications, the worst sin of all. No man has ever been a greater sinner than you. I repeat, now you must go to run 14 miles and say hungry, hungry hippos, hungry, hungry hippos, hungry, hungry hippos 3 times. Saying the phrase hungry, hungry hippos for a total of 9 times. Because you say it 3 times, 3 times. All right, James?
On it.
Do you understand the conclave I have deposed?
Yes.
All right. Well, James, I guess I'll take that tonight because I'm tired. Honestly, okay, fine. You're good. I'm tired. I'm just too tired for this shit. Okay. It is time for your soul to be saved. Hey, hey, ho, ho, ha. Ooh, hoo, 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 ho. Jesus had abs. Probably. Very good. Amen. All right, James. Well, sorry. I don't know what we're doing at all.
It's not awkward.
It's very sorry. I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry, Catholic religion. Fuck. I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time in church making up for this one. Goodbye.